guys, the Comics Kid 2099 here. Today I want to talk to you about Batman vs. Ninja Turtles, the animated movie. My friend let me borrow this, so if you're watching this, Derek, thank you. This is loosely based on the comic book Batman Ninja Turtles crossover by James Tynion and Freddie Jones Jr. It does have some significant differences with that story. That comic book had Killer Croc in it. Killer Croc is nowhere to be seen in this movie. Also, this movie has the Joker playing a prominent role. He was nowhere to be seen in that comic book, and this also has Batgirl and Robin in it, and they were not in the original Batman Ninja Turtles crossover. Now, there was also another crossover, completely separate, that took the Batman the Animated Series, Batman and his related characters, and crossed them over with, I believe, the 2003 Ninja Turtles cartoon and their related characters, and that story did have Batgirl and Robin. Not the same Robin that we see here. The one we see here, while he's not actually name-dropped, it's highly implied that it's Damian Wayne, and the Robin that we saw in that comic was actually Dick Grayson. So this is kind of sort of borrowing from both of those Batman Ninja Turtle crossovers and kind of doing its own thing. It does bear more resemblance to the James Tynion, Freddie Jones Jr. crossover, but there are some significant differences, like I said. And I really liked this movie quite a bit. I am not entirely up to date on the DC cartoon movies. There are a few that I have not seen as of this recording. I still haven't watched The Return of Superman or The Reign of the Superman, whatever they were calling that one. That's kind of based on The Return of Superman. Still haven't seen Batman Ninja, haven't seen Justice League versus the Fatal Five, although I really want to watch that one. There's another one that I haven't seen that I can't think of off the top of my head, but some of them I have not seen, but for the most part I am caught up, and a lot of the animated movies I am not a big fan of. I think out of all of them that have come out since Superman Doomsday or Brainiac Attacks, whichever one came out first, all of the DC animated movies that have come out since then, I could probably list 5 that I think are legitimately good movies. All the others I think are pretty problematic, and I think the biggest problem that I have with all of them is that it feels like they are rushing them way too much. It feels like we have to get 3 movies out a year. Let's just churn this one out. We don't have to worry about trying to fine-tune it and make it a little better than what it could be. And so a lot of them feel like they're just kind of half-butting it, and they're not really putting as much effort into it as they could. This does not feel like that. It feels like they really care about getting all of this right, and that's weird, because while the Ninja Turtles started off a little bit grittier than what they kind of evolved into over the last few decades, I've read the first roughly 12 issues that the Ninja Turtles appeared in back in the late 80s, and those were a little closer to the Batman comics from that same time period as far as tone. Over the years, Batman has kind of stayed in that dark, grim and gritty tone, whereas the Turtles have gotten a little bit goofier, and I don't have a problem with that. Personally, I'm not the biggest Ninja Turtle fan. I don't have anything against the franchise, I just don't keep up with it as much as other people do. If you show me one of these turtles, like this one here in the blue mask, 50-50 chance that I get his name right. That's either Donatello or Leonardo. I really don't know. I don't keep up with the Turtles like I do Batman stuff, so a lot of the Turtle stuff here, I don't know if they get it right or not. There might be someone out there who is a huge Ninja Turtle fan, and they might say that the Shredder would have destroyed Ra's al Ghul, and there's no way that he would have debased himself and let himself be insulted like he was in this movie. I have no idea, but I really liked all the Batman stuff that we have here. Ra's al Ghul feels very true to the character in the comics. He wants to eliminate humankind and kind of let the Earth get back to the way it once was. That's very much a Ra's al Ghul thing. He's an eco-terrorist first and foremost. Yes, he does have some ninja stuff going on. He's an immortal, but a lot of people tend to forget about the eco-terrorism thing, which is a big part of his character, I think. Then you've got the animal stuff going on here, where the Batman villains are being turned into animals, and that's more of a Ninja Turtle thing, and that was a little silly. There are some of the animals where I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Scarecrow is turned into a crow. Okay, we get it. But then Joker is turned into a cobra. I was thinking it would have made perfect sense to turn him into a hyena. I don't know why they didn't go in that direction. And then you have Batman, who is obviously turned into a bat. Some of that is a little silly. Why would this formula turn Batman into a bat and turn Scarecrow into a crow? Why wouldn't it turn all of them into the same animal? So on the one hand, I think it's a little silly that it does have different different effects on each one, but on the other hand, I'm thinking, why wouldn't you just go ahead and turn Joker into a hyena? So I like a lot of the Batman stuff here. At one point, there's a company that the Foot is trying to steal a specific machine thing from to create this bigger machine, and it's Powers Technology from Batman Beyond. I thought that was a really cool reference. I don't remember that being in either of the Batman Ninja Turtle books that I have read, and there's been like 2 more Batman Ninja Turtle crossovers since the first one by Tynion and Jones. I haven't read either of those, so maybe this was borrowing a little bit from those. I don't know, but there's at one point Stooge working for the Penguin, who looks an awful lot like one of the mutants from Dark Knight Returns. I thought that was really cool. I'm sure there are a ton of Ninja Turtle references here that I did not catch. At one point in their van, they have a calendar that says April on it. I'm assuming that's a reference to April O'Neil, but we get a lot of really cool stuff here. This is one of my favorite of the animated movies from DC that we have gotten in a while. I feel like they were really putting a lot more effort into this than they do a lot of the ones that they have done recently. Now, bear in mind, there are a few that I haven't watched recently. I've heard a lot of really good things about Justice League versus the Fatal Five, but a lot of the newer ones that I have watched, I have not been a huge fan of, and I was very pleasantly surprised by this one right here. So I hope that you guys like this video. I hope I was able to convince you to go watch this. I know I'm a little late. It came out a few months ago, but my friend let me borrow it. I'm really glad that he did. So now I'm going to try and snag me a copy of my own. So I hope that you guys like this video, and I will see you later in the week with another video. In the meantime, you guys have a great rest of the day. Catch you later.